everybody, my name's Alan. On behalf of the crew, I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Bridging Heaven and Earth. You know, another show started with a but lately I've just been completely, really blown away by so much that's happening, by so much positivity and so much magic. I mean, we've been using that word a lot. So many obvious miracles happening on this glorious planet Earth. So many people having epiphanies and so many people growing in their experience of their connectedness, of their grandness, their love, their oneness, their service on this planet, that they're really here to, in simple terms, feel the love and share it, to serve that love, to return this beautiful earth to a place of great connectedness and great joy and great creativity and great collaboration, where those experiences of fear and separation and greed just leave by the power of love. They leave by the power of our recognition of who we really are. Of that more and more people will have that epiphany, that recognition, that experience that all the great teachers and masters had, that Jesus referred to as the Father and I are one. That there is one energy and we all are that, and that all of us in human bodies at this time can have that experience. And it is a definite experience in a human body. And it feels like the infinite. It feels like inclusion. It feels like unconditional love. And, as all of us know, those are just words. But there can be an experience within this human life, within this human body, where those are the words that a lot of humans throughout history, the teachers, the masters, the goddesses, the gurus, however you would look at those people who had that experience. In all religions, at the root of all religions, there was people who had that experience of what we on Bridging call the oneness. That connectedness, that energy that is us all, that we are all made of love. And that in essence we want to be love in motion. We want to walk this human life in service to that love. And really now's the time for that. I mean, whenever you watch this show, know that in your life, because you're watching this show, because you're part of this energy, this vibration, this hoping, this caring, this desiring, this prayer of let us come home, this prayer of let us experience who we really are. Let us experience that we're brothers and sisters. Let us experience our connection to every plant and every dolphin and every whale and every tree and every brother and sister on this planet, no matter what race, religion, color, country. Separation, separation, separation. Oh Father, oh Goddess, oh however you would look at it, however you would pray. Let me know that we are one. That there is one energy and everyone is part of that. And now's the time. And we're so fortunate and so blessed to be here because there are so many opportunities to have that experience. There are so many people who are making that Sermon on the Mount, who are making that prayer, who are making that vibration, who are making that realization, who are making that recognition over and over and over and over again. And it's available on television, it's available on cable, it's available on the internet, it's available on satellite. And I know that because this Bridging show is available all over, and I know that that's what this show is about, and that's what every guest of Bridging is about. Now, they might have different ways of expressing it, they might have different ways of manifesting it in this human life, but basically they've realized at some point that they're They want to feel the love, they want to share the love, and they're here as just human manifestations of love and motion, and that's their prayer. And tonight's guest is one of those beings who's had that realization, had it from early on, and has grown and grown and grown as she's manifested more and more in this life to have that experience. Gail Glasner-Tversky is a spiritual teacher. She's an author. She's a hypno-counselor. She's a hypnotherapist. And from early on, she wanted to know the workings of the human and the universal mind. She wanted to know the truth. She wanted to know in an intuitive sense, because she had these gifts early on, and she knew that she was highly gifted and had a highly developed sensitivity, and that she had a great empathy for those on this planet who somehow were suffering not knowing that. And she's the author of a best-selling book, Reprogram Your Self-Conscious, How to Use Hypnosis to Get What You Really Want. And her main desire in living this human life is to serve the love, to heal the heart, to reconnect to that oneness. And it's, again, an honor for us to have Gail here with us. And as most of you know, we usually show music videos, art music videos. And tonight we have a beautiful art music video done by a Bridging family member. 14-year-old Cameron Childs did that with his mother, Bianca. It's an art and music video. We call it number 11 because we've done 10 before. So he used the music of Spirit Voyage and Sanat Karam and put these beautiful images of the International Healing Art Project with that music, and I'll explain that more later. And then we have another beautiful video, the Ave Maria Experience, that Elisa Brown let us use. She's got a beautiful voice, and the music is by another friend of Bridging, Barry Goldstein, who we just showed a video of his recently. And also, as most of you know, we're in the middle of an international healing art project that came as a vision, came as a dream, as a healing, as an acupuncture for the planet, as a healing the heart of the planet, that energetically we would reach out to the world and say, using this Bridging distribution system, using that Bridging is on all over the world, on cable, on satellite, and on YouTube, on Vimeo, that get these beautiful pieces, get these manifestations of your love, produce a new original piece based on the theme Bridging Heaven and Earth, get it to us here, any size, any format, any skill level, any age, get it to us here, and we will put it on the shows, and we will have a beautiful international healing art site, heaven2earthart.com, heaven2earthart.com. You know, we'll have art exhibits. We've already had a few. We'll have more. We'll have, hopefully get them in hospitals and museums and places where this healing art could really be a healing power for children, for cancer victims. And, we're hoping to have that done soon. So everybody is welcome. The more people involved in the healing of the heart, the better. So, and everyone is welcome. And the energy of the project is inclusive, is infinite, and is about unconditional love. So we have two beautiful pieces. One Gail did, and one is by Amanda Aplett, did a beautiful collage. And we'll read some of the stuff that she wrote about it. So, it's just an opportunity for us to really experience the magic, experience the love, experience the connection. And we all want to go home. We all want to know love. We all want to feel love and share it. And there's an opportunity for us to do that. So join me in a short meditation, then we'll have the first art music video by Cameron, and Gail will be with us, and art and music and love. So join me in a short meditation. Thank you. So this first video, as I described before, was done by 14-year-old Cameron Childs. It's an art music video, number 11, because we've done 10 before. If you want to see beautiful art music videos, go to the Bridging website and just start putting in number 1, number 2, and you'll just see Bridging Heaven and Earth art music videos, 1 through 10, and this will be number 11, so you'll be able to see that pretty soon. And special thanks to Cameron and Bianca and Spirit Voyage Music and Sanat Karam. And you'll see beautiful music, beautiful singing, and just a beautiful, beautiful video. And all the pieces have been new original pieces based on the theme Bridging Heaven and Earth, done for the International Healing Art Project. Enjoy.
सो मैं विसर न जाए, सो मैं विसर
Hi everybody, welcome back. So that was a beautiful video. All the art done for the International Healing Art Project, all new original pieces. Go to the website, Heaven to Earth Art, and you'll see about the artists and their websites and their passions, their desires, their incredible other pieces of art, a lot of them. They're just beautiful, beautiful stuff. And thanks Cameron and Bianca for putting that together. Again, Cameron was 14 years old now and when he did it. And Spirit Voyage Music and Guru Ganesha and Snadam Kaur for making the music available. And the beautiful piece of art you see in between Gail and I is a piece that Gail manifested. And why don't you talk to that a little, Gail?
Well, when I was creating the book cover for Reprogram Your Subconscious, my book, How to Use Hypnosis to Get What You Really Want. It's a long title, but in any case, I had a vision of what I wanted. It came to me, and I started off with a door, because going from the earth plane into your subconscious is like going into another dimension. I call it alpha, theta, or delta frequency, but it's also a very spiritual dimension. So the open door meant that we could go from where we are here into that other dimension of our subconscious, where all is so beautiful and all is known. And it was pieced together. My wonderful person who assisted me is Nikki Orzel, and she was able to take my ideas and create, there's 7 different pictures here that all came together to form this one. So we started with the door.
Very powerful.
And then this had clouds here, and we said, no, that looks like you're already in heaven. So we needed earth. So we made the earth right here. And we wanted to give the idea that in your subconscious you find your path. So we found a picture that was all these stones, and she cut each individual one and made a path. And the tree is to represent life and growth, because this is such personal and spiritual growth when you reach into your subconscious to find the meaning in your life, to find who you are, to find and experience love and nurturing more so than you could in so many other ways. And then the sun, when we originally found the sun, it was basically a very pale or white sun, and we changed it in color so that you see how beaming it is, like so full of energy. Because a lot of the images that I use when I'm doing my hypnotherapy with clients is to draw in the sun. We actually release a lot of the negativity up to the sun, and it's to transform that negativity into positive energy. And the sun beams down all the positive energy you need for all the issues you're working on. And then that circulates throughout your whole body. It's just a really beautiful image. And the clouds are there because it represents, there's a contrast, that sometimes there are cloudy days and sometimes there are bright blue days, but you see it's all separated. It's not overwhelming. It's something that is actually beautiful, even though it's not completely white fluffy clouds. You'll see some have like the darkness around. It means that the light still shines through. And we wanted also to give that feeling of hope, because as I see the subconscious, it is one of our greatest hopes for being all that we can be, getting over issues we have, learning what love is all about, and self-healing as well. So that's how it came to be.
Well, it's amazing, but here you just described how much feeling and thought went into this piece, and you've seen some of the other pieces at the gallery studio here, and just that amount of just beauty and hunger and intent to create something beautiful is coming from all over the world. It's we're so lucky here to have all these art pieces. And when you brought this piece,
Yes, I did.
and when we first saw it, it's like and in big, because we'd seen it on the cover of the
Right.
book and all that. There's another piece that's just so powerful and so healing. And that's what the whole project's about. So yeah, it's interesting. So when I said at the opening that from early on you were knowing, you were empathic, you were
Right.
very sensitive, very intuitive. Why don't you talk about growing up like that, and how you came into being a hypnotherapist and a hypnocounselor?
Okay. Oh, I'd love to. Thank you. I think one of the first signs that I was a deeper thinker was when I was about 10 years old. And I was interested in religion and understanding what life was about. And one of the things that disturbed me the most was the fact that people die. So I prayed to God and I said, why? Why would you give me this beautiful family, this beautiful life, and then at some time just take it all away? It didn't make
Did you
sense
have a
to
loss
me.
or just,
No, this is before.
this is before? So
It was
you
a
kind of knew it was
premonition.
coming.
It was a premonition.
Right.
Because at age almost 15, my dad died very suddenly of a heart attack.
So
And
you
it was
needed 5 years of
devastating.
preparation to...
I needed 5 years of preparation. It was
interesting.
one of those terrible traumas because as a child I hadn't been prepared for it. Even though my mom believed in God and so forth, we didn't ever talk about it. It was basically, well, your memory lives on. But that wasn't enough for me. It didn't seem that God, being the loving, caring, compassionate God, would just leave us in memory. So something didn't make sense to me. So I kept striving to find out more. And when my dad did die, it was such a shock because I hadn't come to any conclusion.
Right.
I didn't have the support, not that they didn't want to give me the support, they weren't able to
Right,
give
they
me the
didn't have the
support.
capacity.
They didn't have the capacity. So that started my journey in grief. Now my journey continued for 38 years.
Wow.
And it wasn't until I found hypnosis, I should say, the certification in hypnosis, and had chosen to actually go that route, that I went to see a hypnocounselor. And I said, I'm going to work on an issue I have to see if hypnosis can help. And I will tell you, I probably spent 4 years in regular therapy and did not make a whole lot of progress. I could not talk about my dad without tears just flowing down.
And this is 35 years later.
38 years
Later. Wow.
So I went to see
So
this
we can,
hypnocounselor.
as humans, you know that we can carry things for
Oh,
very long periods
yeah,
of
and
time.
you know how they say time heals everything?
How much time, baby?
It may be on a conscious level, because
Right.
you can submerge things, but on a subconscious level, it's still there until you do something to actively, proactively release that grief on a subconscious level. What that hypnocounselor did for me in one
Would you
session.
say it's to release it or to bring it into the light? How would you describe
Well,
it?
when you transform it into something that's neutral or beautiful, taking
So
away
you
the
have
pain.
to shine light on it in a certain
You
way?
have to separate it from the pain. Now, some people, when they come for grief, they say, well, I don't want to forget my loved one.
Yeah, you
Don't
won't
make
forget,
me.
right.
No, you don't forget. You remember the beauty, you remember the love. But what you do is you gently release the pain that was associated with it. And then you are able to feel whole and complete again. And another part of grief and loss, because I deal with this quite often, is that the person has to feel strong enough to go on. And a lot of people don't have that high self-esteem that they feel that they can continue and be as strong as they were. And often they'll say, oh, a part of me left, or I'll never be the same. Words to that effect. And that means literally part of their energy did leave with that grief, and they especially need to take that energy and that power back
But it is
and release the
get
negative.
backable for sure, right?
Oh,
Because, I
absolutely.
mean, really, where's it go? I mean,
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. And you remember with the loved one, but you have peace in your heart. You have love, compassion, and peace. So
those are a good three.
yeah,
That's love, compassion, and peace would be a good day.
very good. And the people that say, I'll never be the same, I lost a husband or wife or even child.
Child,
Oh
yeah.
my God. There still is love, compassion, and peace. It's
Right.
possible. Because what we do is we change the perspective from which you're viewing that. And that changes everything. And I heard someone else say, in fact, it was Sue who was on earlier, that you can change the perspective, and that will change how you view things. And we do that through getting to the subconscious, because the subconscious is so powerful. It can follow your directions, assuming that we frame it correctly and that we're in that altered state, which I call the suggestible subconscious state. We can alter the way we see things. So, and I've heard you say this too, we can take the wounds and the blows that we take that life gives us And who hasn't suffered?
Nobody I know.
No one.
Not
okay?
unless you're under 5 years old or 3 or 1 year old.
Oh, they still can
Yeah,
suffer
right, no, I'm sure,
subconsciously.
right, right,
They can.
Right, no, I'm sure.
So we take that and we use it as our wisdom, our learning tools. Someone else I've heard say that we're just spirit having an earth experience. In some way, our earth experience is like basic training. Like when you go into the army or the armed forces, it can be tough, but the result is so wonderful. You can look back and say, you know, I went through it, I got through it, I learned so much, whether it was I learned never to take anything for granted, or I learned how valuable somebody was to me, or how I have a legacy now that I want to continue. Whatever it is that you get from that, you've gotten a lot of wisdom. And sometimes you can get wisdom without the bumps and the thumps that we get, just because you're intuitive, just because you can learn from somebody else's experience and not have to go through it. But this is all about learning and wisdom. I call it like, you know, purifying your soul, because as you learn things and you release the negative thoughts and mindsets and belief systems you have, you are actually cleansing your soul, and then you bring in the positive to replace it. You never leave a vacuum. You always replace it with everything beautiful, everything full of love and healing. And what happens is it raises your frequency. You are a better person. You've done spiritual development just because you've been able to deal with whatever life handed you and grow from it.
That's beautiful. So we went off on a little sidetrack. You were,
Yeah, I was telling you about myself.
30, yeah, no, right. You were talking about
You want me to go
38
back?
years.
Yes.
Yeah, and just, yeah,
Yes.
continue, because it's interesting how.
Let me go back,
Yeah, right.
because I think
That's
I mentioned my
interesting.
life has been rather synchronistic.
Right, and you started doing the hypnotherapy for yourself at
Well-
53 to get and take the class and all.
Yeah, in my early 50s.
Right.
And, but I had taken a course in hypnosis when I was just a second year high school English and speech teacher. So I was always curious about how the mind worked. In fact, you mentioned that.
Right.
So I saw this advertisement for an enrichment class teaching self-hypnosis, and I went, I got to take that. I didn't realize at the time I was being guided, but I tend to follow that guidance
Right.
intuitively.
It was very clear to you that this was where you were supposed to be.
Very clear to me. And at the same time, I took my first class in spiritual development.
Wow.
It was led by a Methodist minister. And in those days, you had to have the church kind of ordain you, and you're okay. Otherwise, coming from the family I did, very conservative, middle-class kind of
The
family.
work of the devil.
Oh my goodness. I could be called witch, you know.
Right, right.
So I learned all kinds of things. I learned I was psychic in that group. I learned that I could take any item and get vibrations from it and images and sometimes conversations, and they were very accurate. And so it got me more interested, because every time I did it, I said, oh, it's just a coincidence. Nobody can do that. Because I was listening to outside voices instead of listening to my own inner wisdom.
Right. And actually, in a way, you knew it from the time you were very young,
Yeah.
and it took decades
Yeah.
to come back to. That's interesting, because I had a similar experience. I knew it really young, and then you get away from it. It wasn't, till I was in my 50s, but probably in my 20s, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, I remember now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go ahead, so tell.
So when I was, after I had children, I have 3 children, one of my friends is a psychologist, and she said to me one day, aren't you interested in hypnosis? And I went, oh yeah. She said, well, here's the training classes for it. It's a regular profession. And I went, what? And I called that day and signed up. I just knew. And before I did that, in between teaching, because I've done several things, teaching and doing hypnosis, I did speech training for corporations and so forth, and image. So this is the artistic bent I had. I was able to help people with how to dress and colors that look best on them. I developed my own makeup line, and it was help people on the exterior feel good about themselves. And I knew I was already a caring person. I need to be of service, and I've known that for a long time. I am most joyous when I'm being of service and really helping people, especially if it
I'd say
changes their
that's
life.
Almost everybody, once they get
Yeah.
into it, really feels that way. It's so
Yeah.
uplifting to
It is.
be doing your destiny, your life's service, your life's work, play, however you look at it.
And if you understand how the subconscious mind works, whenever you're doing something that feels so good, the subconscious goes, oh, that makes her feel good. Well, let's give her more of that. So it pushes you more and more in that direction. It's always trying to either protect you or make you feel pleasure, feel really good. And a lot of times, most of the time, feel good about yourself in some way. So anyway, I was doing the speech and image training, and I immediately, when I got trained in hypnotherapy, switched my clients to hypnotherapy clients also. So it was really great for me because I had a ready-made base, they trusted me, and again, who doesn't have issues? So we could do everything from nail biting to grief to alcoholism to self-esteem issues to habits like cigarette smoking and weight issues. There's so many.
Yeah,
And people
no,
say,
there's
well, will
unlimited-
hypnosis help?
unlimited
And I
number.
say, if there's something where the mind is involved in whatever it is you're talking about, then hypnosis can help.
Well, is there anything that the mind isn't involved?
I haven't thought of that
Oh,
yet.
yeah, I was going to say, it seems like there'd be a connection
It's
somewhere.
hard. Even people who are mentally retarded, it would be very difficult to work with somebody who's mentally retarded in a regular session. However, if they are listening to hypnotic guided imagery and they're in the alpha theta state, which they've got to be when they're sleeping, then they're in this adjustable state. When you are in that state, you are not on this plane. So therefore, it can be possible for things to get into the subconscious where they, being spirit mostly, take in the suggestions and it can actually benefit them.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me
Yeah.
because, the expression, we have whatever you think you are, you're more. So whenever we define ourselves as someone else, we're,
Yeah.
limiting the potential. So let's get into how we can expand our experience and not limit potential. In the second half, we'll show the second video and then come back,
Okay.
bring a new piece of art out and so.
Okay.
All right, that would be beautiful. So yeah, there's a beautiful video coming, Elisa Brown. It's her video, the Ave Maria Experience. Special thanks to Elisa and Barry Goldstein, who we've shown his beautiful music and videos before, and Sharon Smith, who is the director of this video. So it's Elisa Brown, Ave Maria Experience. Enjoy. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. So, Elisa Brown, Ave Maria, beautiful. Again, Elisa, thank you. Barry, thank you. Sharon, thank you. Beautiful. And the extraordinary piece of international healing, beautiful art in between Gail and I is by Amanda Applett. It's called Bridging Heaven and Earth. It's a collage, oil, acrylic, gems, glitter, partially covered in wax. And Amanda's from Portland, Oregon, USA. Now, here's what Amanda says about when she was producing this piece. Now, this is only a small part of what she had to say. She said, wrote paragraphs and paragraphs, but I'm only going to read the first section. So if you want to hear more of what Amanda said about doing this extraordinary piece, go to heaventoearthart.com, go to the artist page, go to Amanda Applett. It's under alphabetical under A, Amanda, and go to her page and you'll see the beautiful things she wrote. But here's the beginning of it. This project came to me in the most miraculous way, and I just knew I had to be a part of this creative way of spreading love, art, and inspiration. And in this process, I really came to realize my love for art. I love how it became a crucial part in my journey through the creation from the beginning to the completion, how it unfolded in the most powerful spiritual way. Before I even knew the Bridging Healing Art Project existed, I knew I wanted to create a piece that subject was weighing heavily on my heart and was a current acknowledgement in my journey I am on. So Amanda Applett, Bridging Heaven and Earth, another amazing piece. So again, anybody who wants to be part of it, please join us. The more people involved, the better the healing, the better the acupuncture, the more the love, the more the collaboration. So, okay, Gail. So when we ended the, the last section, we were talking about, how you came to know that hypnotherapy and hypnocounseling and hypnosis was such a powerful tool in the healing process. Why don't you talk to that?
Well, I started in 1999, actually, after I finished my training, and very shortly thereafter, synchronistically, I contacted Nightingale Conant, which is one of the leaders in self-improvement and so forth, and they market CDs, and I was able to get in touch with the president, and he said that he was interested in any CD that I might be creating. So 2 years later, because it took a while to create, I sent him the CD, and they went ahead, test marketed it, and they asked me to write a CD program. They wanted 8 CDs.
Wow.
And this is where God came in to help me, because I had 4.5 weeks from the time I said, I could finish it, and when I was able to actually begin, till the finishing date, I finished it, and it was channeled, because I went to that computer and my fingers just went like so. I knew my outline, but someone from above helped me with that. And it was something that launched me to a much larger audience, because they're an internationally well-known, well-respected company, and they knew when they did the test marketing that my subject matter was something people would be interested in. So it's been a top seller for us for 7 years. And the best thing is that I know thousands of people have benefited from it. And it introduced what is the subconscious. It introduced my theory of how your subconscious works, because there really are characteristics that help one know and understand why we do the things we do and why we can't change the things we want to change. And I also have guided imagery, hypnotic guided imagery, as part of the CD program. And then it teaches self-hypnosis also. And I knew after I had done that program and it was doing so well, some years passed and I went, I've got to update some of the material. So I wrote the book, the same title, Reprogram Your Subconscious, How to Use Hypnosis to Get What You Really Want. And I went into more specifics. There's about 50% more material in there that you really need if you're going to go step by step. Now, some people are auditory learners, some people are more visual learners, and some people need a whole variety, kinesthetic, visual, and auditory. So this completed the 2 sets, the 9 CDs and the book, make a very powerful way to understand your subconscious mind and truly make so many of your own changes. When you absolutely feel there's no other alternative and you've tried your best to make the changes, you always can see the professional as a facilitator to help you and make those very major breakthroughs. And you recognize, of course, there's going to be some times you aren't able to do it on your own, and that's okay. But it gave people such hope because they could listen to CDs, and whether they were sleeping and heard them or whether they were awake with their eyes closed and listening to them, the way everything was framed, the way everything was formulated was such an effective way to help people make the changes. And they did it automatically. They didn't have to do much other than just listen. And the amazing thing is that the changes are so subtle sometimes that people don't even realize that they're changing till all of a sudden somebody says something to them. I had a client, for instance, that said, I don't think this is working, but I had just talked to her brother earlier in the day because he had recommended she go through the program, and he said, she says good morning in the morning at work because they work together. She's never done that before. So here the person didn't think it was working, and it was working already. And she also was working on being assertive. And she called me and said, I've got to tell you, I don't usually tell people these things, but I don't think this is working. And then I paused and I said, weren't we working on you being a little bit more assertive? And she said, yeah. I said, well, what are you being now? And then there was a, oh. So that's what happens for a lot of people. It happens so easily, so comfortably, and as I say, time efficiently, that they don't even realize that they're acting or thinking differently. It just happens in that very easy, comfortable way. So getting back to what you said, from there, here's my mind looking at the big picture. I realized if we can help people with health issues, if we can help them with relationship and financial and abundance and love issues and so forth, what more can we do? Well, look at what's going on in our world now. We need better education. I help people get better test scores through using hypnosis. Why can't we have a better educational system using the same theory? Saving time, having the best tools for learning that really means something, and using that subconscious mind that gives you the answers, that retains information, that can improve memory, that can get the overview and see the bigger picture. So it's something I would wish and I want very much to teach other practitioners. I'm actually training people on my techniques because I'm only one person. And when people call and they want to get my type of work and they don't, if they are in some way objecting to phone hypnosis or over Skype, they want that in-person experience, I don't have very many people who I can recommend. So I was motivated to create a program to actually train others so they can continue. But in any case, besides education, there's so much in health. For instance, people who are so sad and unable to work even, or are so anxious and so forth. Hypnosis is one of the most effective ways of helping people get over that quickly. We're not talking about a year. We're not talking about years. We're talking about weeks or months, most likely. Post-traumatic stress disorder. Post-traumatic stress, we all have post-traumatic stress. Anytime somebody yelled at you as a child, and if you were a sensitive kid, it hit that subconscious and made you feel badly. It can cause faulty subconscious programs. That's what I call them. And yet, hypnosis can delete them and then download better programs that make you feel strong self-esteem, strong self-empowerment. So think about all the soldiers. I've already had people from Florida call me and tell me they had been using my CD that comes with the book, the Relax, Release, Dream On CD, and they use it for their Army, actually as an Air Force, people who have terrible anxiety or post-traumatic stress, and it's been very helpful. It's been helpful in school programs for children who have difficulty learning, who come from abusive homes, for instance. It's helped people who have gone through rape, whether it's men or women, and I've worked with both who have those issues. It goes on and on and on. We ought to harness this wonderful ability to use our minds and change the pain, get rid of the suffering, reprogram it, go through forgiveness and things of that sort in such a way that we are going to raise the vibration of our whole planet. We're going to learn compassion, because when you realize that you have, as I have, faulty subconscious programs that are directing me to go in other ways that are for my highest good, that means everybody has them. And that means try as you want to. If it's your conscious mind fighting your subconscious is going to win most every time. So people give up because they think they're not powerful enough.
Right.
And yet
They
it's
can't
their
fit, they lose
subconscious.
hope.
Yes, and yet it's their subconscious. And once they learn the program, they understand how the subconscious mind works, they go, oh my God, you mean I'm not to fault for that? I didn't cause this? And I go, no, it was your subconscious, the way it's programmed to work, just like any computer system. However, and this is the however, very important, we each have the responsibility to change the faulty subconscious programs. That's our responsibility and our spiritual responsibility. And that goes back to what I said before, is as we remove our fears and anxieties and our prejudices and our negative behaviors and so forth, we are cleansing our soul and we are becoming better people. And the more we do that, it just is going to elevate the whole planet. That's how important this is. That's the vision I see.
Right. And does it have to be through hypnosis? And if these people are doing it on their own, are they like doing self-hypnosis? Why don't you talk about what the process would be?
Okay. Many people, well, the book is aimed at teaching self-hypnosis, which everyone can do. People who are way below average intelligence, they would have to have somebody assist them or listen to a CD in the evening, for instance. But for most everybody, if they want to, and you've got to want to, you can relax and go into that hypnotic state. Now, some people can do it just like following their breath, like meditation. Actually, hypnosis and meditation overlap because hypnosis is just a tool that gets you into that alpha, theta, or delta being sleep state. And we don't use sleep state when we're doing our facilitation because we want the person to dialogue while they're in hypnosis. That's when things come to your mind, your subconscious mind, that you wouldn't know otherwise. And that's how we can work things out much better. But everybody has the potential to go into this state. And when they've read the book, they know how to formulate, frame their suggestions. They're going to have a very high success rate. Now, here's something else the book talks about. If you already have a previously downloaded program, let's say it's a faulty program, let's say you started smoking and you can't stop. And we find out in your past what you did, and your subconscious tells us this. In the past, when you first started smoking, you felt like you were just hot, okay? You were so cool because you were with your friends, you were being an adult, it felt so good. And your subconscious noted that, and it said, wow, that makes Gail feel really great. Well, let's give her more reason, more push to smoke more, and it'll just feel better and better. And that's how people get hooked so easily, because your subconscious is pushing you towards pleasure, something it knows it's its responsibility to make you feel and do.
So the subconscious doesn't necessarily, it looks to enhance your ability to feel good, but
Right.
not your highest good. So
Exactly. It can make mistakes. That's wonderful. I'm so glad you brought that up. It's well-intentioned. It meant to give you your bottom line, but it doesn't look past that. It doesn't say, if she starts smoking, maybe later she might get lung cancer. It doesn't say that. It goes immediate. What's the bottom line? It made you feel good? Got to have more of it. That's how alcoholics can perhaps numb themselves, and that felt better rather than living in an abusive home. And so your subconscious goes, wow, they feel protected if we give them that drink, and it numbs them. Let's give them more reason to drink. And it becomes so strong. Even though it's a faulty program, even though it's bad logic, it's because it comes from the amygdala part of the brain, that's the emotional brain, and it reacts in a split second. And it doesn't take it past the neocortex part of the brain, which is your logic brain. So its conclusions can be really bad for you. And yet it meant well.
okay, so how do we, so you're saying hypnosis takes us to that place, and how does, does consciousness recognize that it's a faulty program?
No.
Okay, what
Most of the time it does.
recognizes?
Your subconscious mind knows all. And what will happen...
Well, how do you get fooled?
Well,
I mean,
you're-
I'm not following
Okay.
exactly.
Let me
but
tell
you know,
you.
yeah,
I'll
explain.
explain.
I know you know that area.
I'm so glad you asked.
Right.
Okay. Your subconscious is your silent, invisible partner. It's making decisions for you, choices every day. It doesn't appear that way because it's outside your awareness. It also doesn't stop and ask you for your permission. It just goes ahead and does it. Now, some of the things it does are great. If you had a wonderful experience as an actress and got applause and it just pushed you, boy, it really feels good to be an actress, and you went ahead and were a successful actress, that's great. Yay, subconscious. But sometimes it makes mistakes. You may have flubbed the first time, and then you got such a fear because the subconscious was trying to protect you from ever re-experiencing anything that badly again, and then you stopped when you should have proceeded. So what we do in hypnosis, if you've got an issue that's not going away and it's not for your highest good, it's not pleasing you, it's really harmful to you or uncomfortable, that means there's already a program in your
see.
subconscious that's directing you there.
It's moving you towards healing
Right,
that.
and all your efforts,
I see.
all your efforts to get that job. I know somebody went through, oh gosh, maybe 30, 40 interviews before they realized it was something in their subconscious that was sabotaging them. When you correct that and then download the positive, it changes. Just like your computer. Imagine your computer, if you hit delete on a certain file, it's gone. It doesn't make you go in that direction anymore, it's gone. And then when you download something else in its place, that's what's working, that's what's operating.
Wow.
It's so much like a computer, that's why I came up with reprogram your subconscious, because it is like reprogramming our subconscious mind for our highest good.
Well, there you're going to have it because we're coming to the end. So we want to reprogram our mind for the highest good.
Yes.
And that's what all these processes can do.
And
So-
facilitators are there to help those people who are unable to do it on their own. But
We're coming to the end, so...
Okay,
all
so that's it.
Yeah, so yeah, if you want any information on Gail, the book, the CDs, the Art Project, Alan, 805-687-2053. Good night, we love you, God bless you.